In this episode of Align Your Stars podcast, we have adult language and adult related topics. So if you have any little ones running around, grab your headphones now.
Hi, if you're seeing this, your guides have a message for you, and that is to not give up on your dreams just yet. That wish you made a while ago, a long time ago, when you were little, you wished upon a shooting star, upon a regular star. I mean, what star is regular, right? Don't give up on your dream. Keep going. Take your time. There's no time limit. There's no age where you can make your dreams come true. Some of the greatest people in the world made it when they were older. So you're not in a rush. You don't have to do things by the timeline of humanity and what they believe is the right time. It's all about when it feels right, and it will come to you naturally. So the message here is, don't give up on your dreams. There's still hope yet. Have faith. Don't give up.
Welcome back to Align Your Stars Season 2. I am very excited to be opening up the show with my first featured guest, Florina Kaja. She is a wonderful, beautiful, incredible goddess that has been an amazing friend of mine for the last couple of years. Ever since I started this astrology career of mine, she has been such a support, an incredible collaborator. You can watch her past lives on Instagram and as well as YouTube. And our discussions are very much powerful, and really it's so insightful because both of us have a lot of overlays with our birth charts, which is definitely not a coincidence here. Florina Kaja is a celebrity medium, spirit entrepreneur, and abundant life coach. And she's also, in case you're wondering, for her big three, she's got a Sun in Virgo, Libra Rising, and Aquarius Moon. Florina Kaja, formerly known as a bad girl from the hit reality series Bad Girls Club, now becomes a spirit entrepreneur on a mission to help those who wish to find peace and forgiveness by connecting with spirit. In 2019, Florina had her spiritual awakening, learning to channel her past mental, physical, and psychological pain to heal her life, and found her calling to help others. Her belief is that when you experience periods of dis-ease, this means you are ready to step into your true state of awareness. Kaja's vision is to help women and children connect with spirit to heal the world. Now I'm going to be drawing a card in representation of our interview today. So we're going to see like the theme for today, this overall vessel and the container of the show. And this message may resonate with you with whatever comes out. So listen in carefully. And if you're watching it, it's amazing because you're going to see a little bit of the artwork as well. And this is called Spiritual Ascension Cards by Diana Cooper. It's one of the most beautiful decks I've ever used, ever. And it has messages in each one. So you don't have to actually look through a guidebook to look up the meaning of it. You will see it instantly. So this message is for our interview today, just to see what to expect and how we can best work with the message that's meant to come into your awareness, those who are watching this episode. Wow, very fitting for Florina Kaja to be joining us today. We got the card 12 Chakras. It's the first card of the deck. And the message of here is she's going to talk about Atlantis, most likely, because that's part of the meaning of the card. But I'm going to read it. Following the fall of Atlantis, 5 of our 12 chakras closed. Ascension starts when we once more activate our 12th, 5th dimensional chakras. Your guidance is to ask the unicorns to touch, open, and activate your Earth Star, base, sacral, navel, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, causal, soul star, and stellar gateway chakras. Then ask the angels to sing over you so that your chakras vibrate at a 5th dimensional frequency. The affirmation is, I awaken my 12 5th dimensional chakras. In case you don't know about chakras, we have 7 main ones, but there's additional ones that we can work with. Now, the 5th dimensional chakras is an indicator there's 5 extra in between each chakra that we work with. So to begin, with this affirmation to best harness this energy from, like, if you're listening to this message right now, it's meant to tell you that you are in a time in your life where you are meant to go beyond what you already thought you knew. You're meant to expand your energy outward by learning how to engage more with your own etheric self. So it's by activating the 5 additional ones as the ones I listed. So I want you to repeat this affirmation. I'm going to read it very slowly. Okay. I awaken my 12 fifth dimensional chakras. So you don't have to know all of the chakras that we have. It's through this conscious awareness. So you don't have to know all of the chakras that we have. I mean, it's good to know if you want to learn into, if you want to lead into understanding these things, sure. But if you actually state this affirmation, the additional chakras will be activated. So that's your message for you. And as well as for Florina Kaja, who's just joined us right now, I'm going to be inviting her into the room and we will get started. And I'm going to show her this card as well. So it's going to be exciting to talk about this more in depth. Hello, hello. Hi.
All right.
Yes, we're good. Hi, how are you?
Okay. I'm good. How are you, darling?
Very good. I drew a card today before our meeting. And I don't know if you ever used the Diana Cooper ones, the Ascension cards.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We got the 12 chakras. It's like a representation of our discussion today.
I just did a cleansing video on that, cleansing the 12 chakras. That's funny.
Yes. And like, it's just it's meant to say that we're meant to engage much more with the 5 additional chakras. And the affirmation is, I awaken my 12 fifth dimensional chakras. So it's like the chakras in between the 7 major ones, and the one that's like the stellar gateway chakras, like this is the one beyond our crown and soul star. So we could just take a dive in deep into exploring like your story. And you know, the first question I want to ask you is like, just tell me about yourself, and tell anybody who's listening to this podcast about yourself. I love your big 3. I already told you, I told listeners before, you have a sun in Virgo, Libra rising, Aquarius moon, you got Pluto on your ascendant. I mean, you and I both have those parallels, and it's just like a natural inclination towards seeing such extremes in life, but learning how to transmute it to light. That's definitely a Pluto's calling. But for everyone,
so Pluto is my ascendant. Even though I'm a Libra rising, Pluto is the ascendant planet. Wow.
Yeah, that's your
no wonder why I've been
planet.
going through that during this Pluto in retro. That's so crazy.
Yes, you feel things deeply, especially when Pluto does go retrograde. And big time. For everybody watching or listening to the show, can you tell them about yourself and how you got into this point now in your life's work?
Hey guys, my name is Florina. People know me as Flo. I did a reality show. I got called to do a reality show. And I knew from that time that wasn't why I was getting called. I knew there was a different reason, but I was like, something was telling me just go be on the show. And from there, I believe that was what led me to my great spiritual awakening. So I did the show, ended up like beating records, being the first Albanian woman on American TV, just a whole bunch of firsts, like first ever viewers, first ever nominees for the show. Bunch of stuff that I broke records and all that. And I went on literally because Spirit was like, you're not good with this 9 to 5 kind of stuff. I need you to go find your purpose. And so I did that. And after that, you know, I'm just going to share a little bit, not too long, try to keep it short. After that, I believe that show called Bad Girls Club, funny because I went on there as like such a good girl. And I like followed the rules. I did everything everybody told me to do. And I think that show led me to like find myself and who I truly am. And that I did have some bad girl in me, and I wanted to explore that. And so I did that. And then after that, I believe that that's what led me to the addictions that I had and the mental illnesses that I battled. And one of the reasons why I mentioned this is because I want everyone to know you're not sick, you're gifted. You are gifted. And I didn't realize that. I kept going to every doctor trying to find out what's going on. They told me it's postpartum depression, bipolar disorder, you know, anxiety, all of these different labels that I got. It was ridiculous. I even went to stay in mental hospitals. And every time, excuse me, they always told me, you know, you don't belong here, right? Like, and I'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm crazy, you know? Because that's what the doctors are telling me. I ended up taking all this medication, doing all this stuff. And through my mental illnesses and my addiction, I had my great spiritual awakening where I'd like to say a demon saved my life. And I know that sounds funny, but
Mhm.
actually, I was taking Adderall at that time and I was overtaking them, going crazy. And one night in my room, not sleeping for 3 days, and sometimes you just need this to happen. Some of us, right? Not sleeping at all and on the Adderall, and literally a demon walked up to me. He had no face and he started speaking to me, and like I was interacting with him, and I knew that this wasn't a good thing to do, but I just felt like I was seeing all this for a reason. And spirit played out hell to me, all of hell. What this one was doing, what that one was doing, they were showing me my father who passed away. Just a bunch of very toxic things you don't want to see. Trust me, someone else would have jumped out the window, put it that way. But then in the midst of all that, in the morning, I started to calm myself down. When I say they showed me horrible things, I don't want to mention what I seen. It had to do with children, and I'm very sensitive, and I know people are sensitive about that. And finally, in the morning, I decided I'm going to take a picture because I feel like I'm seeing something. So my cat came to my window, and I took a picture. I was letting the camera take pictures. And above me, there's a big green, looks like a serpent in the picture. I have the photo. It
Mhm.
looks like it's touching my head. And
Mhm.
from that moment, I started to get clean. I started to work on myself. And I truly believe that was the energy of Archangel Raphael that came
Yeah.
to me. Yeah. And I've also had visitations of Mary and stuff like this. But that all led me to my purpose today, which is a healer, medium, psychic, um, Reiki masters, all these, these labels. I don't put it that way. I just put myself as a general, all around healer who works with everything, plant medicine, people, animals, whatever.
I
Yeah.
completely agree with you with the labeling. It's really it categorizes people, and it creates some kind of superiority and God issues or God complex that happens.
It gives them a reason to say it's okay that I'm crazy. Like, and that's the problem. And so when I was told you have anxiety, you have bipolar disorder, when I acted out, I was like,
Mhm.
but I'm bipolar. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's why we need to take these labels out and just say, you're going through a spiritual awakening, something's happening. The mind, some people are born literally with a tick in the mind. And that is basically like a mistake. But I truly believe that if you don't think that way and you stop saying I'm bipolar, I'm crazy, if you stop saying I'm sick, I don't feel good, I swear to God, you will tell your body what to do and your body will listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Hmm.
like whatever you are projecting inside and believing in, like you're actually instilling the concepts, and therefore it
100%.
spirals out in your body, it spirals out in your situation in
Yes.
life. And then that's when you lose
Hmm.
control. And it's very
Right.
fitting for you. And I always like to tie in, like, I mean, since you are my first guest on the show, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing, because I love tying in the astrology of everything. I like how you're like the trailblazer. See, you're pioneer on TV, pioneer on
First
being
for
a
everything,
woman.
baby. That's, don't get it
Pioneer
twisted. I'm a
woman on
little
TV.
ghetto too.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's and just
Yeah.
like pioneer on TV, pioneer on like actually breaking the norm of the Albanian culture as women.
Right.
I know I'm going
Right.
into that
It's
because I'm
very, very
Albanian.
important for me. Very important. I
Me
understand. She's
too.
Albanian too. Yes.
I am too. And,
Yeah.
like in tying into the astrology aspect, you also have like incredible fixed star in alignment with your ascendant. I never mentioned this to you before. And I think you already know this already. You got Corvus on your ascendant. I have Corvus on my moon.
Mm.
It's the black crow in the sky. So
This is why I'm always looking at crows and they're always surrounding me everywhere I go. It's
because
insane.
they see the unseen, and they also
Right.
could pick out things that
Yep.
are not really great for
Right. They're
us.
very intelligent. Yeah, I know a lot about crows. For some reason, spirit guided me to like study them. And I
Yes.
know one thing about them is they can tell the difference between a good person and a bad person. Like they can
Yes.
see that. And they'll
And they
start
see,
crowing to each other.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
also see like the beyond. Anybody who has
Right.
this position, I'm not saying only, but you see the dark, but you also see
Yeah.
the light of what could be.
Yes.
So
Yes, I
you
do.
do go through the extremes of your past experiences, but learning how to get out of that, even though you could bury yourself into the dark.
The
I've
dark.
been there. I've been there before, but it was inside.
Yes.
But for you, it was more
Yes.
like inside than outward and
Right.
continuous. But then you woke up. It was when
Right.
Raphael came into your life,
Hmm.
showed the serpent and like the green, the caduceus, like that's what Raphael is oftentimes associated with, is the healer angel.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But in your case, Corvus is on your ascendant, so it's very fitting that your life's calling has to do with you basically extracting the dark from people, extracting the dark in life, and starting to bring light into what they can do to help themselves.
That's so crazy. That's so
and
crazy.
You think about it, crows clean up disease, right?
Right.
It's
right.
so funny. I'm getting chills as I say this.
No, I love you for saying this to me. I love you for saying this because my spirit guides will tell me, embrace the dark. Because, so for instance, I'm just going to say this really quick before I forget. Spirit would do stuff like this with me. I remember being sent to like the ghetto of Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
One day. And I was like, why am I here? And I go there and I stop in the middle of the street and this young man comes up to me and I'm like, can you watch my car? I'll be right back. I gave him $20 because it's a little crazy over there. So he's like, I got you. When I came back, he was like, just started telling me about how his brother and father just died. All this stuff just happened. He was starving. That $20 is going to feed him. So throughout the day, I ended up staying close by with a bunch of people from my Angel Squad members and taking care of him. I bought him food. I brought him cigarettes, stuff that they like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, who sent you? I was like, your father or your brother. And the dark will send me to the darkness. And that's why I have to be real careful, because if I follow along, I'll end up in the trenches. And I got to make sure I pull myself out, which is what you need to be doing when you start getting yourself in that. I hate life. Life sucks. I do it all the time. I say it all the time. But then I'm like, all right, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? So
that's definitely the fixed star in alignment with I'm telling you, I've seen it a lot, especially with myself, as well as with people that I work with. Because even for myself, I'm not perfect, like levitating on the clouds on that like an angel. I mean, we have angel tendencies, everybody, but even for myself, I fester and rot inside, but it's more about the emotions, like more deep inside.
Actually, I think the dark is a very sexy, gorgeous part of me. Yeah. And when she comes out to play, she makes my light side a little less so uptight, because my light side is like, I gotta be perfect. They can't have sex. They can't do drugs. They can't. And it's like, I don't want to do drugs. I'm just saying, she's so angelic that sometimes I'm like, bitch, shut up. Let me just have some fun. You're so annoying. And I have to, because if you're too much in the light and too much in the darkness, you have to find that balance where you don't, when we say darkness, I'm not talking about like doing bad things to people.
No.
I'm talking about embracing that feminine, dark energy of you, which you don't deny it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because it's tough.
People, like whenever they do repress that bad side of themselves, are bad. It shouldn't be even labeled.
It's really it's worse.
It's just an aspect of what you hold. We all have it. That's the thing. And like whenever people repress and they don't face it, that's what leads to the disease.
Right.
It leads
right.
to bad relationships. It leads to like you not really enjoying your life. So I do a lot of shadow work with women too.
I was going to say that with the shadow work. I want to say this to everybody watching, whoever's watching. One thing I'm going to tell you, do yourself a favor. Whenever you have a problem, just stare at it directly in the face and face it head on right there. So you don't have to do it later, because a lot of us, we grow up and then later on our shadow comes out. When you're a child, you can't help it. But right now as an adult, anything that bothers you about people, about a person you're hanging out with, your boyfriend, I don't like when you do that. When you do that, it makes me uncomfortable. Face it at that moment, because if you don't tell people how you feel and what you don't like, you're going to have resentments and start to hate someone who could possibly have been a great friend to you or a great lover. So please face your shadow immediately. Don't be afraid of it. It's not that serious. You have to like
kind of probe it and investigate more, because people just glaze over the surface and just assume one thing, but they're not going to be really gaining all that information that they need in order to live their lives in a better way. And I want to ask you, like, when you were a child, did you have spiritual experiences?
I did. Like you said, the dark stuff. So I had the one that I'll never forget. I was told a lot about people on my father's side not being like the greatest or like nice to us and stuff like that. Like they weren't the greatest or the nicest. And I remember we were playing hide and seek, all the kids, and my cousin from my father's side dressed as a witch, right? Just for fun, to make fun and scare us. And I hid in the closet. And I will never forget that when she opened the door and looked at me, I didn't see her. I saw a monster. And she was like, and I got so scared I peed my pants. Like that's how terrified I was. I
Yeah.
was about 6 years old and I thought I was going crazy when I saw that, but then I realized, oh my God, that really happened. And there was times when I would sit in the living room and I would see dark shadows in the corner, especially my father carried a lot of entities with his addictions and stuff like that.
Yes.
And of course I was seeing all of that. And my sister would tell me like, you'd be little and you'd be like, there's somebody standing there. I'm scared. I'm scared. And I
Mm.
would be afraid of the dark and all that stuff. And that's another thing I had to face was my being afraid of the dark because I saw a lot of shit when I was little. Excuse me, I'm sorry for cursing. You know how I am. I
Okay.
saw a lot of stuff when I was little, so you know the things that I saw really affected me to the point where I ran for my spiritual side for a long time, and I was 36 when I had my spiritual awakening. So,
The
do not 30. I'm
reawakening.
sorry, 34. Excuse me, 34. Do
Yeah.
not expect it to happen when you're 20, and if it does, then you're fast tracking, that's fine. But do
Yeah.
yourself a favor and live out what you need to live out. And when it's time, do it because it is not easy. It's hard.
It is, yeah, and you had I think it was already in you, but then, like, that time when you were 6 years old, you suppressed it then.
Oh yeah, the
And it's
fear
also
because I'm afraid I'm going to see that again, and I did end up seeing it. My first spiritual awakening.
yes, because that was, like, the fear of not being received also even by your family as well.
Right,
Very
right,
common
exactly.
for family, even for people
Hmm.
who suppress their gifts, like people who are listening to the show, maybe you are an intuitive, maybe you are feeling like that you sense things beyond people's perception because you probably repressed that part of you when you were young. Also happened
Right.
to me. Also happens to
Yeah.
very much traditional households and
Yeah,
cultural.
kids who grew up like in toxic households, you learn to do this thing where like when you feel a negative energy or something coming, you know ahead of time, so you run out of it because you're so used to it happening and you are a light worker. If you're in your home, I'm not judging parents and all that because I forgive everyone. I understand we all go through things, but you are a light worker. You are a starseed and empath. If you feel like you were always the outside of the home, or when people spoke, you didn't really relate, or if you're in conversations with your friends, and every time they talk about like celebrities and stuff, and you're just like, why can't we have deeper conversations?
Mhm.
That's what a light worker is. Someone who does not resonate with 90% of humanity. I'm sorry to say it that way, but you have like a 5% chance I meet somebody like you or they meet somebody like me and you met each other. It's very rare. Okay. So when
Yeah.
you get it, hold on to it and do not let it go.
I completely agree with you. Who has made the most influence in your life, if any? Or did you have somebody that you could talk to during those years leading into your spiritual awakening, like ever?
Okay. No. So this is the thing. I'm going to say this. This is one of the missions that I chose was to not have somebody at the time because spirit wanted me to really feel everything so that when I come out, and say when I tell you I'm an expert at shadow work and stuff, I went through it all literally alone. The only thing I had was people like Dolores Cannon or
Mhm.
Mateos de Stefano and these people on Gaia and stuff like that I watch, and like my galactic family that would visit me in my dreams and tell me like this is what's happening, we're going to help you with this. They would show me them coming out of a spaceship and being like, "Oh," and being like, this is there's a B right on the thing, and being like, this is for you, this is you, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So I had my spiritual team guiding me from the spirit realms, and I say spirit meaning like galactic and above and beyond, but never. It's crazy. I never had a human being I could have walked up to and been like, "Why is this happening? And what's this about?" I mean, I met you, and that's later, which
Mhm.
she has guided me through some stuff too. And I'm going to tell you like this: as healers, you start to get to the point where you really don't trust other people's opinions and stuff like that. Not because you're being mean, but because other people you'll see through them. But when Lumi speaks to me, and I swear to God, when
Oh,
she talks to me, I've never looked at her and been like, what are you talking about? So, I'm going to just say, guys, when I see a goddess, I see goddess in everyone. But when I see a goddess, like a goddess, with somebody who's already elevated, but still trying to figure out how they're a goddess, I can see right through that. And, everybody's a goddess, everybody's a god, everybody's enlightened. But, I never had somebody, but I think for a reason, again, it's because they wanted me to really feel everything so that when it comes to helping other people, I'll tell them, I went through it alone. You have me right now guiding you. If you can't do it faster and speedier, then but you sometimes you have to feel everything in
yes.
order to become like sort of like an expert at it, you know. I always say
Absolutely.
I have my master's in shadow work and my master's in karmic healing and clearing karma. I have that literally.
Because you
My bachelor's,
experience
master's, yeah. Yep.
the trenches, as you said before. You're like, I was in the trenches of the dark and all that stuff. I
Right.
know, I've been there too. But again, it was something that was suppressed in me
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
childhood. It took a lot. I was like I had never told anybody this, not a lot of people, but I was like living in a haunted house with my family, and the most dark
Wow.
things came out of,
Oof.
ooh, it was an 8 house, like
And you were
literally
the only one who's
combination
seeing
8.
it.
And I saw ghosts, I saw poltergeist, like I saw a lot of crazy stuff. Let me tell you.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
awakened me. It was 2011, but it was like that was like my official awakening because I was studying astrology my teens, early 20s, like 21 was the year that really something
Wow.
awakened in me, and I had to explore because my mother was getting sick, like a very mysterious illness. My father was
Mm,
acting very polarizing and angry. In myself, I was angry.
right.
I was saying the worst things ever. I was like, where's this coming from?
Wow.
And not to scare
They were
people who are
affecting
listening
you
to
guys.
this or
They
reading it
were
or
affect
like listening. But yeah,
Lumi,
but that's when I found
you
myself. Yes,
that's why you are as powerful as you are today. Again, you had to go through that, right?
I
You were
did.
led there. You were
I
led
was like,
there.
I
And
gotta
I'm gonna
learn this
say
stuff for
this.
myself. Like I learned how to like sage
Exactly. You've
and
experienced it firsthand. Firsthand.
crystal
Firsthand.
gritting. I did all that stuff. Yeah.
Right, right. So you could be an expert on teaching people because a lot of people are going through that and nobody says nothing because people don't think they're crazy. But let me tell you guys something. Um, if you are living in your home with other people, I'm gonna tell you something that will change your life, I think. When you start to feel energy around your house and you see like your mom's overeating or your sister's acting mean or your
Mhm.
father's being a jerk or there's addictions or attachments in the household, it will start to affect everyone. So you can do what I do, and I'll just text people and be like, you need to stop eating like that at nighttime. And they hate it when I do it, right? But I see them making little changes. I'll be like, you need to stop sitting on the couch all day. It's unhealthy for you. You're going to die. Like I will say straight up, just like that. I don't care.
Mhm.
And then at first they'll get really mad at me and yell at me, tell me what to do now, you know, but then they're like,
They admit it
I see
later.
them making the little changes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So be that voice because that's why you're in that home. You chose these people because you wanted to help them somehow. They're not going to help you with anything except for teaching you how to get through the shadow because that's what they're there for. You didn't pick your family for what they can teach you, you picked them for what they cannot teach you.
Yeah. And also, hopefully, along the way, you shifted something in them to realize later down the road. It
Right.
doesn't
Hold
happen
on. Hold on.
instantly,
Hold on.
but the ones who are mostly awakened, they
Yes.
notice the polarities within their family. It's not to say
Right.
to disassociate altogether, but you're meant to find your way and you can't
Right.
drag them with you because it's not possible. But I also wanted to
No, you
ask, like,
cannot.
how does intuition, and I know how intuition works for me because I'm an intuitive as well, but like for people who are wondering about it, right? How do the
Mm.
messages come through to you when you are in your work? Like when you are working with
Okay.
clients with tarot
I
and
love
as well
that.
as your
Love that
mediumship.
question.
Yeah, and your mediumship
Yeah.
ability, because people are like confused by it. Like, what is intuition
Yeah.
really? Or what is
I
mediumship?
get that. I get that question a lot. And I'm going to tell you, as somebody who's been working with my intuition for a long time, there are times when I still question it, but I have to tell myself, like, "Shh, stop questioning it, you know? So for me, it's like, let's say I'm talking to Lumi right now and I'm sitting down with you, tapping into the energy. Instantly, I'll hear something in my head. Like, I'll hear something like, yeah, that book's gonna take off. That's what I just heard, right? So I just
Mhm.
heard that, and I'm gonna tell Numi, I just heard that book's gonna take off, and I'll say random things to people, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, how did you know?" You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and the thing is, sometimes it sounds outlandish, and strange, but I don't deny it, and I just say it, and
Hmm.
it always ends up resonating with the person. There's been very rare times where somebody who will sit back and be like, "You can't read me." They're testing me, and yes, I can because they're not allowing me to. I don't tap into your energy unless you let me. But
Hmm.
it's a thought thing, and also let me just talk about this intuition thing. There are two voices in your head. The one that says "Don't go there" is the one. If you start hearing "Don't go there" or "Go there" because and they start talking and yapping, that's not your intuition. That's spirit or that's energy around you. That you need to say, "Excuse me, I'm talking to my higher self right now. Back off." And they will. They will because
It's a more
when you
calmer
are
inner voice.
aware,
Yes.
right,
It's more like it's not yippy yappy or chatty. I
right,
understand because
right,
that's usually the ego coming through and questioning you. and trying to barricade you from reaching that part that you need to get to. That makes perfect
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you guys just know I'm Albanian, and people look at me and like, I do readings, I smoke a cigarette, I do interviews, I smoke a cigarette, I drink my coffee. But you also have to understand, when I'm in my element, I'm much better. If I pretend like I'm this perfect girl and you're going to see me and be like, I want to be like her, some people not going to like what I
It's
do. It
not you.
doesn't matter. It's my authentic self, and that's who I am. And it's not even about cigarettes or coffee or any of that. But when I'm doing readings, if I'm not myself, I can't channel properly. If I'm
Mhm.
trying to be someone else and tighten myself up to make, because sometimes I just want to share this real quick. Sometimes I'll feel like I'm like a little ghetto, and that's why a lot of these like other types of women are not coming to me. Maybe they're intimidated by me, like she's scary. But what they
Mhm.
need to understand is that's my authentic self. And actually, maybe you need someone like me to tell you straight
To
up
shake
how it
you
is.
up, relax. Yeah, I
Right.
know.
Because
You
that's what I'm
crack
good
me
at.
up
I
all
take
the
people's
time.
shadow, and yeah, I mean, you have
I
to.
love
You
it.
have to. You have to. Listen, I've been around couples, and I've been like, if your relationship's not strong, don't have me come sleep over your house or anything. And
Mm.
some of them have broken up or they become much stronger. When I tell you, they walk in and I become their therapist for 3 hours, they start arguing about things that they never talked about. I bring out that darkness. You
There's
understand?
Corvus. There's
Right.
Corvus.
And then they
Algorand.
learn.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
Corvus, the constellation. That's what does it.
Yep. Hmm.
Whenever you have, because your position is Algorand, but like that's the actual fixed star in alignment, but it's on the Corvus constellations, the crow. So
Yeah.
it's a little yappy sometimes. I'm not saying you are, but
Oh,
like
I am. I'm yappy. I could
the
talk, girl.
influence that it emanates, because anybody who looks
Yeah.
at the fixed stars, this is like the traditional astrology. That's what came before people were able to see planets, like, or notice planets. Like they worked more with star alignments, and that's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
becoming more popular again.
I
And
think I think astrology is more authentic than anything else.
yeah, it's
I'll
because
trust
it's
an astrologer over a medium any day. However, I
yeah.
always say, if you're ever going to go to a medium and a psychic, come to me, because I am like real deal,
Yes,
and I know that because I
you're
would
very
never,
unfiltered. I know.
right. I would
Yes.
never do this if I didn't think it was real.
Oh, absolutely. And you've gone through all of the ups and downs, topsy turvies, under the rock, over the
Hmm.
rock kind of
Hmm.
experiences, and you know the human experience, and
Yeah.
therefore
And I
you're
know
able to
that
help
people don't like
them.
to be bullshitted. Nobody wants to be bullshitted.
No, they want to be
Who
hoodwinked.
wants to, just because you're paying me doesn't mean that I have to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. You should actually hear the opposite of what you want to hear.
That's the
Uh,
issue with a lot
uh,
of intuitives in the
yeah.
market, and as well
They
as
come off like,
influencers.
I, I'm perfect and you're going to be just like me. And it's like, I didn't say I want to be like you. I want to learn something about myself. That's why people come to us, to learn about themselves.
Yes, you have to tell the
Right.
truth.
So,
You have to tell the truth.
yeah.
Sometimes, if you do give what the client needs to hear, or wants to hear, I should say,
Hmm.
they're not going to take the full benefit of it. They're just going to keep living in the continuous pattern. They're going to keep coming back to that person. That's
Yeah.
an issue, because the one thing about
Yeah.
astrology, and as well as the work that you do as well, mediumship, you're meant to inspire the client to tap into more of their inner wisdom. Whereas
Right.
in the
Right.
industry, where all these mediums are,
They talk about
they're like, come next
somebody
week,
who
come
died
next
like
week.
this. They'll
Yes.
talk about somebody who
And
died like
I
this.
have to charge you 500 to lift that spell. I've
And
been there. I had
another thing, when I do clients with mediumship and all that, I tell them from the beginning, who you're expecting to come through will not come through all the time, because the people that are going to guide you, your spirit guides that come through, they're the ones that want to tell you about you. You're here for yourself. I'm not here to tell you your mom said this, she said she loves you, blah blah blah. It's the same crap. But your mom wants to tell you this and do this and don't do that and don't be like that and don't do, that's what she wants. What would
Mhm.
your mom tell you in the spirit world? She would straight up tell you, dump him, he's a loser, I'm watching him, he's cheating on you. Am I right or wrong? So sometimes spirit will come through like that, and some people can't handle it. And I'll tell them, listen, your husband is sneaking around. Like, you need to. They'll be like, what? And then they find out a week later. It's like, I
Mhm.
can't. And I'm like, dude, it's you. You were told that for a reason. Just take that information and move on. Like, let it go. You know what I mean? So,
And that's a
yeah,
huge thing, especially for readings. Like I usually attract a lot of women who want to come to me to ask about relationships, or when is
relationships.
that going to happen, or what can I do to get out of my relationship? Like it's usually about looking to an external source to help them make the major decisions in their life. And of course,
Which they already
astrology
know the
does
answer to.
help. Yeah,
Yeah.
astrology does help, but
Hmm.
it's about helping the client gain more of their own sense of inner wisdom
Right.
by
Right.
building the courage to know themselves more, and
Yes.
attract better outcomes in their situation. Absolutely. And it sounds like your kind of work is very similar. Like you want the client to connect to themselves more. Then incredible people come to their lives because it's all about the frequency. It's all about where we are in our life.
It's it's like if I'm doing a reading and the person is low vibrational, I'll tap into very low vibrational energy. Because like you said, I can go into the dark or I can go into the light. So who would you like to speak to today? Would you want to hear about your dark side or your light side? And I tend to focus on the light and more like galactic messages. And also, Spirit's guided me to say this for some people here really quickly. Use animals as the direction of where you should go that day. For instance, when I go somewhere, if I ask Spirit, should I go here? If yes, make a bird fly to my right, or a butterfly or something fly to my right side. If I should not go, make it fly to my left side. And do you know that I'll be driving and a butterfly will go in front of my car? I'm going 30 miles an hour. Somehow it just passes me perfectly, a butterfly to my right. And I'm like, this is perfect for me. Use them as your guides because they are here, and be out in nature as much as you can.
Oh, I've been seeing white doves lately. White ones. I don't ever see white doves in the Bronx. I just saw, ever since I went to Key West. I went to Key West
that's a new beginning, girl.
I saw 2 white doves there. I see a bird above your head as we're talking. And
it passed. The hawk is my guide too. Yeah.
And 3 days ago, I was talking to a client, and I all of a sudden just saw a white dove. I never see.
That's crazy.
White one.
Lumi, that is a big. When I saw the last time I saw a white dove, all these changes came to me. When I say big, beautiful changes, I even pregnancy, that represents for some people too as well.
Absolutely. I understand that completely. And it's such a beautiful symbol. And yes, looking to the signs, I feel like it's very important, especially now that we are in this part of our journey, and is even the collective. It's just a lot of things are changing very much so. People who just follow with the conforms of life, conforms of society, it's wrong, because you have to think for yourself to navigate through decisions you make.
If you want to wait until that finishes. Yeah, exactly. You do. You have to do it. You got to go with your intuition, man. I'm going to tell you guys, use your own discernment. When you feel something is not right, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, there's times when I've done things that I knew weren't right, but that's because I was like, I'm going to be bad tonight. I'm going to drink, have fun, not drive, and just be smart. But like, if you feel like it's telling you don't do it, just don't.
So what would you consider as your proudest accomplishment now at this time?
My proudest accomplishment would be learning to be with self, and because that was really hard for me. I always had to be around people, even if I didn't know them or didn't care about them. Learning to be with self, and learning self-love is my biggest accomplishment. But just knowing that every day I'm helping someone heal things that I went through, it feels like none of it was in vain. And I feel like I went through it for a reason, because it can be hard when you feel like it's for no reason. So, that's my biggest accomplishment. I think knowing that I've helped people heal through learning to be with self and finding how to love myself just the way I am in my heaviest times and my not. Just learning to love myself. What's yours? I'm curious. What's yours?
Mine biggest accomplishment? Well, so far, being in a loving relationship, that was a big one for me, because that was something that I was always concerned about in my life.
Me too. I need that.
And that's a huge one. Having somebody in my life who accepts me for who I am. Like
amazing. I hope to God.
He's like, do your thing. He's like,
he's Albanian.
And he's Albanian. Yeah. And he told me, he's like, listen, he's like, you don't have to tell me about your stuff. It's okay. He's like, I support you with whatever it is that you decide to do. He's like, I'm just not, I'm not into reading astrology, but it's cool what you do.
Right.
Like, okay.
Wow. Amazing.
That's
amazing.
Albanian guys are more like, that's weird juju, like not I'm sure some of them
meanwhile their parents all do Turkish coffee cup readings all the time. I don't understand these people.
I know.
I love my people, but they are very close-minded some places, and that's why I said I'm going to do what I do, because I'm going to show everybody, look what I'm doing. And I got to tell you one more thing. My cousins, like, they came online and like wrote me these long ass letters like, you can't do this, Allah will get mad. And then when I wrote them back, I explained to them that this saved my life, and Allah never did. Sorry. You know, I mean, I love God and all that, but this saved my life. Allah didn't save my life. Allah made
Yes.
me think that everything I was doing was wrong. Like I'm not, as you know, I share my religious beliefs. I am not religious at all.
Me
I'm
too.
all religions. I'm Jewish. I'm Muslim. I'm all of them,
I
because
understand.
I don't separate myself.
I'm the
So
same way.
that's yeah. Okay.
I
Yep. Good.
support that
Good.
completely. And just like not
Me
to
too.
bash any religions in any way, because everybody has a specific leaning towards it for a reason. But I
Right.
feel like God created all these tools for us to work with in order to keep
For
ourselves
sure.
centered and balanced in our lives. I mean,
For
it's not to
sure.
say it's
You know,
bad.
these gods come from one source, that one source. And they
Yes.
were all products of this connection. And it's like the cosmic web, and it comes from one, and that's one. Just because to the side of one, we not separated, we're still linked to one energy source. We're all linked to it. And you have to understand that there's powers that be that love that people follow them and listen to them, because now if something happens, a war or something, they're all going to be able to get all of you to do whatever they say because you believe in that, not me. I'll be like, this is not right. I don't think this is okay. So
Mhm.
you have to understand, be careful with everything, not just religion. Again, everything, religion's beautiful when it's done right, when it's done in a loving way, but it's supposed to be for that. But people use it for their own toxic whatever,
Yeah,
so I'll
it's
leave
like
it there. I'll leave
not to say it's in any way like for everybody who follows a religion has a tendency towards control or narcissistic
it.
tendencies,
Yeah.
because I feel like they're looking for their own way. It's understandable.
Yeah, exactly.
However, it's just all about really coexisting in the end of it all.
Right.
You know?
Listen, I'm not religious, and who revealed themselves to me during the meditation? Mary. She,
Mm,
when I say perfect vision of Mary right in my third eye, it was like, imagine you're looking and there's a holographic projection over there. She came to me, Jesus showed me in my dreams a bunch of times. I was shown a lot of these prophets and
yes,
yeah, so mhm,
same here.
yeah.
So I thank you so much. I mean, the final question I want to ask for everybody, and as well as for all the guests
Hmm.
who are going to be on the show, is what helps
Okay.
you find self acceptance and empowerment.
Realizing, I want to be careful how I answer this. For me, what helps me find self acceptance is realizing that every dirty little secret, every little mistake, and every little relationship or friendship was literally lead to who I am today. And so I had to accept myself as someone, as a former addict, a former person with mental illness, all of these things. In your bipolar stages, you do a lot of crazy things. So I had to look at myself doing the worst things I did, and some of them were pretty bad, because, when I'm crazy, I'm crazy, crazy. I'm the devil or I'm the angel. That's why I have to balance it. But had to look at myself doing the worst things and just stare at it, like looking at like from the outside, and accept myself in the dirtiest times to look at myself in the most cleanliest times.
Mm,
And when I say dirty, I'm talking about like sad in a hotel for 2 days, getting high, wanting to die, things like that. And I
you
had
sound
to
like a
see
Virgo
myself sitting on that
completely.
corner. Yeah, I know.
You sound like the true Virgo. You're like dirty, pure,
Dirtiest,
white,
it was dirty.
clean.
Because like for me, it was like when I was like sitting on that hotel floor with like shorts on and my legs touching the floor, which they don't really clean up today. That would be like no. But when I remember doing that and I saw myself doing that, I had to accept myself for the ugliest times and I don't mean that as an ugly pretty. I'm talking about inside, internally.
Yes,
So I had to self-accept myself there at the ugliest to find myself beautiful later. Like, hey, I could be both and I'm still beautiful at the end of the day. And so can you.
that's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. So, what's next for you? What do you, if you don't mind me asking this question, like what's next for
Not
you
at all.
professionally and as well as like ambition, like goals? Like what are you looking forward to?
My ultimate goal would be to open up my own healing retreat center that people can attend
Love
for
that.
children and for adults, so that it'll be like a school for the gifted. That's my ultimate goal, to open up a nice place with like a lot of land, and people can come there, stay a couple of days, and I could try to make it as affordable as possible because I'll get donations from people things like this. That's my ultimate goal. And I'm just walking around wearing like white linen clothing, and everybody's just relaxed, and they're healing. They're really healing, and whatever they're going through, they can leave it all at nature right there. My ultimate goal. I'm gonna write a book. I'm already writing it, sort of, kind of. I just write pages here and there.
Love
Writing
it.
book. I'm gonna create an album for sure. I'm gonna do like singing an album and a meditation album, and those are my ultimate goals right there, to get those things on, and then to own my own house, and uh, probably just start a family with somebody that is healthy and
Oh, I
loving
love this
and
stuff.
kind.
Okay, so yeah, you're just working more towards the creativity and then the service to others, your own inner creativity you want to satiate, especially with your music album. Oh my gosh, I definitely
Hmm.
sense you're gonna do that. Like the
Yeah, I
singing
wrote a song
bowls.
about star seeds, and it's amazing. You would love it.
I'm
It's
sure I would
the
love
kind
to
of
listen.
song we'd be in the car like, oh my god, this is all about me. You know what I mean? So it's really great. Like,
That's
it's
gonna
really
be
great.
really beautiful. Yeah, I definitely
It
could
is.
see you
It
doing
is.
that. Yeah, you're a
It
really
is. Yeah.
powerful
I'm
voice.
just waiting for the timing, I want to say this to you guys. Don't, like, right now, I feel like sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm such a bum. I'm not doing anything. But also, I understand intuitively something's shifting. So I need to give it time. So when you
Yes.
feel like Spirit's pushing you back, you took the break this month. When Spirit's pushing you back and saying, not right now, don't try to run and do it right now.
Don't
Wait,
force it. Hmm.
because there's something that's changing that's going to block that if you don't let it first change and then do that.
That
So
leads to
everything's working
burnout.
out.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
leads to burnout
exactly.
whenever we force
Exactly.
everything in 1 second because you have quite a bit that you want to foresee yourself doing, but it all correlates with each other. So
Right.
it should all
It
fall
is.
into
Yeah, it's
place.
pretty. I would love to have my own TV show where I heal bad girls and stuff like that, like girls who are,
I see you
toxic and
doing
stuff.
that
And
for sure.
I would
Yeah.
love to do that. So if the universe wills it, then it shall be. And sometimes I'm like, but I should learn I can't, I'm not a business person, I'm a creator. So sometimes I
Yes.
get that, I told you about that. I get like stuck in between creativity and business wise. But I truly believe that what I'm meant to do, spirit will lead me and guide me to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much, Florina, for coming onto
Yeah.
the show, Align Your
Oh,
Stars.
you're
And
welcome.
I will definitely
Of
have you back
course,
in the
anytime.
future. But you were great. And thank you again for sharing your incredible,
So
beautiful goddess
I
energy.
just want to tell everybody, if you are looking like to book me or anything like that, I'll let you
Yes.
know. I will be starting bookings again in the middle of August, and I might start my classes back. But again, I'm in the process of moving. I'm not sure what's happening. So I'm waiting until the end of August to see which direction I'm going with. But if you want to follow my Instagram, I have a lot of stuff there. I do videos every day, creative videos for you guys to get healing out of, and channeled messages and things like that, and readings and stuff. So you can follow me until then.
What is your handle? Just so people can find you.
Yeah. It's my Instagram is at the real Florina, my name, Florina, Florina. And my YouTube is youtube.com/Florina Kaja. You could find me like that. And I don't really do Facebook, so try to get to like Instagram and and YouTube, and all my links are there. You'll see everything there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Flo. And I will see you
Thank you,
next
Lumi.
time.
I love you. Bye bye.